Hello, welcome to IPMWORKS e-learning models. My name is Ramon Albages from the University of Lleida and Agrotechnical Research Center. This is the module 1, Agroecosystem Concepts and Theory, Holistic Approach to IPM. And I will present the chapter number 1, what an agroecosystem is. In general, an ecosystem is a community of organisms interacting with the physical, chemical, and biotic environments and focused on the system resilience. Particularly, an agroecosystem is a particular ecosystem focused on the maximization of one or a few species and manage to produce food, fiber, fuel, pharma, CO2 absorption, etc., with criteria responding to economic, social, and environmental requirements. Let's see some features of agroecosystems. First, we'll see the components. Second, the biotic relationships. Third, the abiotic factors that play a role. And visions of the ecosystem from the point of view of entomologists, plant pathologists, and weed scientists. Components of agroecosystems. All the organisms in the agroecosystem are included in one of the nodes of the food web. The food web is composed by first energy source. Most of the energy comes from the sun. First node of producers that interacted mainly by plants, but also some bacteria. Second, the primary consumers, herbivorous animals and microorganisms. Secondary consumers, predators, parasitic animals and microorganisms, etc. And we could talk about tertiary consumers, etc., etc. About biotic relationships in an agroecosystem. First, we have here the sun, as I said before. This is the main source of energy for this ecosystem. The arrows, the black arrows, show the transfer of biomass energy. And this symbol means the competition between organisms. So, producer, we have the crop, we have the plants, but in agroecosystem, we have not only the crop plant, but also some other plants. Most of them are called weeds, which compete with the crop. In the next node, we find the herbivores, the pathogens, and the detritivores. And there is competition between these three kinds of primary consumers. And the biomass and the energy is transferred to the next node in the food web that are the secondary consumers. And we find entomopathogens, so the microorganisms causing diseases in herbivores, predators of herbivores, and parasitoids. And from pathogens, the energy, the biomass is transferred to the organisms in the microbiota. And also we find other detritivores that destroy the detritivore of the primary consumers. On all these relationships, there are abiotic factors that influence this kind, any kind of relationships. Among abiotic, for instance, just some examples: temperature, that affect the survival, the development, the dissemination of all organisms; humidity, that interacts with temperature, light, length of light, ultra U rays, etc. Chemical environments that can influence the behavior of the organism, the survival, the CO2, etc. Let's see. When we analyze and we want to manage an agroecosystem, we need a holistic vision of the agroecosystems. That is very, very, very important. We'll see several disciplines that analyze the agroecosystem. First, the agronomy. Agronomy focuses on the crop and the relation of the crop with the source of energy, with the sun. In the pest control, this is another organism, is focused on phytophagous arthropods, on plant pathogens and weeds. And we have that the pest control is, a vision of pest control is just the weeds, herbivores, and pathogens. But we need an holistic vision to manage this agroecosystem, and we need to see all the components and all the organisms, all the biotic relationships. That it's clearly very important, and also the abiotic factors. So, but sometimes it's not sufficient to have the holistic vision of the agroecosystem, because the agroecosystem is inserted in a wider framework. It's the framework of the landscape. You can see here in this picture a typical landscape, agricultural landscape, where you can see some arable and forage crops here. Olive orchards in the first term. This is our olive trees. Farms and livestock, you can see here. Also, you can see some pasture. In the landscape, you can see urban areas. You can see some semi-natural habitats, and you can see also natural habitats. All these patches are connected, are not isolated. They are connected, at least from some organisms, especially for insects that are able to fly between patches for several kilometers. So I repeat, it's especially important to have this holistic vision of the landscape if you want to manage the landscape for IPM purposes. "20 years ago, ecologist Marcus Kogan, said that the review of the vast literature on IPM confirmed that the success has come from a fundamental understanding of the ecology of agro-ecosystem, not from a new control tactic. So remind that the holistic vision is especially important." A first obstacle for an holistic approach to IPM is that entomologists, plant pathologists, and weed scientists have different visions of the agroecosystem. And some differences come from the relationships between the crop plant and the arthropod herbivore, the plant pathogen, and the weeds. The ability of arthropod herbivores to link their behavior with oriented movement for host selection, but less ability to evade plant detection of their attack. For plant pathologists, it's important that the host plant and the pathogen have a continuous relationship, not like insects. This relationship is continuous. Also, it's important to distinguish the plant tolerance to pathogens is different to the plant tolerance to arthropod herbivores and the plant tolerance to the competition of weeds. Also, it's different the top-down regulation of population density for arthropod herbivores and for plant pathogen and for weeds. These are, I suggest, these two references to see this holistic vision of the ecosystem. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.